Hello and welcome to News Central Now. I am Adebola Adeduba. The headlines. Ipman blames outdated and abandoned pipelines for shortage of petrol across the country. Counting on the way after polls close in Togo's parliamentary elections. Kenyan cabinet meets as death toll from flood nears 170. Details shortly. Many Nigerians woke up to worsening fuel scarcity across many states, including Lagos, Ogun State, and the capital city of Abuja. Although NNPC's spokesperson, Olufemi Shoneye, issued a press statement last week stating that there is an excess supply of petrol in the country, reverse seems to be the case. Our correspondent, Perpetua Fasome Peter, has more.
By the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation that all factors responsible for fuel scarcity had been resolved. Many Nigerians were seen trekking long distances as they could not get commercial vehicles to their various destinations. For motorists, this is frustrating and tiring.
This morning I'm not been to office. If I tell my guys I'm in petrol station as this morning, I will lose my job because I'm looking for petrol. I have money here, but there's no petrol.
I've stayed here up to 1 hour 30 minutes now. Due to fuel scarcity, I don't understand. Like, the thing is very frustrating. You know, people were many, no fuel at all since morning. I had to check to come to work this morning. I don't understand.
I've tried about 3 filling stations, all to no avail.
Although the petrol dispensing manager here told me they do not have products for sale, the customers have a different story to tell.
If you can see that vehicle there, it has come, bought a lot of keg left, and it come back again to refill. He said he's a credit customer. Is he drinking PMS?
While most filling stations closed their shops, only a few seem to be selling either to select customers or the public. This is at variance with the NNPC's claim of sufficient supply.
Government should come out with their task force and start sealing up either NNPC private station. They should seal them up. They should start dipping their tank and see if they have something and they are not selling. They should seal it up, lock the managers up.
Sadly, commuters face a double blow as fares surge, adding to the strain of ongoing fuel scarcity. It is only hoped that this ends sooner rather than later. In Lagos, for News Central, I am Perpetua Fasome Peter.
The scarcity of premium motor spirits, also known as petrol, continues to linger as frustrated Nigerians wait endlessly hours in queues trying to get the product. Reacting to this, the Public Relations Officer of the Independent Marketers Association of Nigeria, Ipman Chinedu Ukadike, spoke on News Central's program The Conversation. He attributed the scarcity to outdated and abandoned pipeline infrastructure.
Called on President Mohamed Tinubu to declare a state of emergency in our refineries and our pipelines. I made it very, very clear that most of our pipelines are obsolete, and those pipelines have been abandoned for so many years. These are the only things that can be able to quickly sell products. If our pipelines are working, why is the truck traveling almost 3 or 5 days to get product to Aba Depot, Yola Depot, Ilori Depot, and not the rest of them? So our pipelines are bad. A lot of vendors are fishing on those pipelines, and you see, some security agencies are not doing little or much, to protect those pipelines so that the government can use those pipelines to transport petroleum products.
And to get a sense of how people are grappling with this, we're joined by our correspondent, Bernard Akede. Bernard, good morning.
Debola, can you hear me?
I can hear you, Bernard. Good morning. Where are you and what's happening where you are?
Okay, so I currently am at, Ologolo bus stop is what this place is called, along the Lagos Lekki Ajah Expressway, I beg your pardon. And if you can see clearly, the fuel queue, this queue you're seeing is from a fuel station, extends as far as I can see. I'll try, blow that up a little bit so you can see. This queue has been going from as early as 6:10 a.m. I'll also try and show you where the filling station is and what the situation inside the fuel station is, if you can see. Inside there, you can see it's a bit of chaos. Now, this is the neighborhood fuel station, which usually is not this busy. Never this busy, as a matter of fact, except at times like this. The gates are locked. There are some vehicles inside, but on the outside, the queue is as long, as I mentioned again, as long as the eyes can see. Now, the queue from this kind of filling station and others has also caused traffic congestion in certain places. I, for example, am a victim of such traffic congestion. The staff bus that should have picked us up from as early as 6:30 is yet to get to my bus stop, has been on the same spot for over an hour and 30 minutes because of the ripple effect of queues from different parts, of the state on this particular corridor. It's really, really chaotic in this place. This road that should ordinarily have been busy around this time is very empty because most of the vehicles that should be plying the road are stuck in one queue or the other, or are just without PMS and have nowhere to go.
I wonder, Bernard, if you were able to speak to any motorist at all, or even any person trying to purchase petrol, just to get a sense of how they are grappling with this new reality.
Well, the funny thing is, the people I've tried to speak with are people who are disgruntled and not even happy that I'm moving the camera towards them. So I had to move out of the fuel station for safety reasons. But of course, going in there, and I'm showing you the fuel station again, going in there, you would definitely see and hear how disgruntled people are. To start with, the product is no longer cheap. This particular fuel station ordinarily sells for about 610, 615 naira per liter, while others around here sell for about 605. The highest you'll get on this aggregate is about 640 naira per liter. But now that the product is scarce, prices have gone as high as, say, 650, close to 700 in some places. So you can tell, you understand that people are going to be very, very upset. Now it looks like they're about to open their gates and recommence sale of the product at this particular fuel station, which is the drama that you're seeing around. And this pretty much is what you have in many fuel stations that have the product to sell along these axis. Again, not many of them actually have product, and for those who have, this is the kind of chaos you'll be witnessing in and around such stations.
Now, aside this, Bernard, has this in any way impacted traffic on the road? What's it like?
So yes, it has impacted traffic negatively and, well, ironically positively, depending on the side of the divide that you stand. Positively, you can see that the road is free-flowing. This usually would have not been at this time of the day, like Ekpe Expressway, if you know this particular corridor very well. But it's free because most of the cars, as mentioned earlier, are either stuck in some fuel queues of some sort somewhere, or just without the product, and so cannot even move anywhere. Unfortunately, it has affected in other ways. For example, myself, who should have been at the office by now, I can't get to the office because the resultant queues have caused traffic or gridlocks at certain places. For example, around Aja, some of our other colleagues are still in the staff force, stuck around Aja flyover because of the resultant traffic from the queues in that particular area. So it's like the French would say, comme ci, comme ça, like this, like that. It's affecting the one side and it's creating for free roads on the other side. But whatever the case may be, people definitely are negatively impacted by these queues from the fuel station.
Bernard, thank you so much for that detailed coverage. We'll keep in touch with you to see how that pans out. We're also joined live by a public affairs commentator, Dotson Ojon. Good morning. Glad to have you join me.
Good morning. It's good to be here.
Mr. Ojon, perhaps I should start by asking how you have been coping with the fuel scarcity.
I was hit hard yesterday because my driver and I have to abandon our vehicle in an office and to be able to make our way home. It's not just a result of the fact that there's fuel scarcity. All of us as a people have also gone the extra mile to display our indiscipline anytime there's a crisis like this. And like I used to say, whenever anything happens in a nation, the response of the citizenry determines the kind of government they will always have. Our response to things like this has always been chaotic. Our response to things like this has always been a display of indiscipline. And that's why most of the time, I was listening to your correspondent now, fuel scarcity alone and I say it and I take responsibility for this, is not enough to cause all the what's it called, the traffic jam that we see in town. If we maintain the normal queue that Nigeria was known for in the 80s, you discover that one after the other, these attendants will attend to us and will leave. But most often when you get to filling station, you see as many as 3-4 queue. You see people even jumping the queue. You see people entering through the exit point, and before you know it, everything becomes chaotic. So the kind of leadership we have as a country is an expression of who we are as a people.
Just to quickly chip in there, talking about the aftermath of fuel scarcity. Now, NNPC has announced this will be resolved in 5 days' time. But the question really is, why is there fuel scarcity in the first place?
I think we all know the solution to the problem, and doing what we know is a major issue. Nigeria today, our consumption has moved down to over 60 million liters per day to about 52 million liters per day. That's since after subsidy. So anybody can take a calculator and you can calculate that, within a week, this is the amount of fuel that we are going to use. But like I said, that most often we are not strategic enough, and any state that is not strategic will always pass through situation that is not pleasant, and that's where we have found ourselves. So what is the solution? And I have repeatedly said this, that if you are in a country that consumes about 52 million liters per day, and you have refineries, the three of them put together, that can actually produce up to 500,000 barrels of liters per day, then you do not have anything called problem. You only need the courage to be able to fix your asset, and you are able to dispense to the people, and you make money. The problem we have is that as long as you rely on importation, there will always be failure. As long as you realize that, you are going to export crude and take in refined product, there will always be a situation like this.
Mr.
So
John,
it is our strategy, and the focus of our strategy should be on ownership rather than how we can efficiently import. If you look at the direction of what CL has been doing over the years, it's been, how can we effectively import to prevent chaos like this? But because you do not have 100% control over the other people that you import from, we heard from some other sources that it was a result of maintenance here and there from some of the refineries where we import fuel from.
Which leads me to my next question, Mr. John. Apologies for butting in there. Talking about strategy, the NNPC has attributed this challenge to logistics, saying that there is fuel, but the challenge is about distribution. How tenable is that?
It is not. It is absolutely not tenable. And in fact, I think it will have been better for one to be quiet than to come with an excuse that can further annoy the people in the community. It is not tenable. The reality is that beyond what they have said, there were issues that they were afraid to talk about. You know, government is always in the habit of embellishing truism or telling outright lies. So, but you cannot continue to come out to say that it is logistics as in what? Is it in taking fuel from Lagos to my village, or from taking it from my village to Abuja? We can see that that is not the issue. They only not have the confidence because Nigerians are going to ask that when the president said fuel subsidy is gone, he came with a caveat that he is going to work on our refineries. So they know that Nigeria will come back to asking, how far have we gone with the turnaround maintenance of our refinery? Let me quickly tell you this, that the money we have spent in the last, because they can tell you, we have not done turnaround maintenance, but I can tell you, it's on the pages of newspaper. Even as 3 years ago, roughly $2 billion was committed to maintenance of refineries. So if you keep turning around the refineries and they are not turning out fuel, then there's an issue. And if you have a new government and the attitude of the government is not different from what we've had before, there's going to be question. So they are just trying to say, oh, there's fuel, because they don't want Nigerians to ask the basic question as to the president promise to fix our refineries. I wanted to tell you the other time that the money that has been expended on turnaround maintenance of our refineries is enough to build refineries of that same capacity. So it is a question of a government that is not strategic in focus. It's a question of a government that is not being plain enough with the Nigerian people. And let me tell you that fuel is so important today. Nobody will have been this bothered if not because of the fact that our entire life is tied around petrol. What do I mean? If you get home today, yesterday I had light for just about 4 hours. I don't know the band that I am in, but my friend jokingly said I'm in bandit or bandit. So if you have fuel for 4 hours, you want to be productive. That means that you need petrol. You cannot get petrol. If I want to grind pepper in my village, I need petrol. If I want to move from one place to the other, I need petrol. Why? Because we do not have efficient transport system yet. We are talking about petrol is becoming the center of our life today because the basic infrastructure that is supposed to bail out the people from reliance on petrol has not been provided.
And that's a fine place to wrap up. I'm afraid that's
if
the
our
most
life
we
is
can
around
take.
petrol, we must do everything possible to ensure that we make it available.
Thank you so much for your time on the news. Dotson Ojon, a public affairs commentator. Thank you once again.
It's a pleasure.
You're live with News Central TV. Let's take a short break. Stay with us. Thank you for staying tuned. The commencement of demolition along the coastal line for the construction of Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway is here. The laughter and jobs offered by the long stretch of beach line may be disappearing as the federal government is determined to embark on the projects that may have an 8-year completion timeline. Our correspondent, Lekon Onobanjo, has details.
Weeks of suspense. A partial demolition exercise initiated to mark way for the construction of the Lagos to Calabar Coastal Highway has left business owners and other employees in the middle of nowhere. The sight of workers dismantling props and structures, once symbols of pride and livelihood, is a bitter pill to swallow for businesses and thousands of workers who cater to nearly 4 million customers annually.
It's disheartening. I must say it's sad because we've known that this would be happening, but to see it happen in real time while we're here to see some of the structures being destroyed, knowing that it's inevitable, I think it's sad to see my colleagues lose their jobs. I think that's the hardest part.
I can't quantify the amount of investment that has gone into this, and even before this whole demolition, we've already paid out to lots of contractors about remodeling certain areas, renovating certain areas, and it just looks like all that is going to waste.
The access to the beachfront has been blocked. The guys who are businesses, over 56 of them are businesses on this line, and they employ directly over 8,000 people. That's gone. To the larger ecosystem that employs combinedly over 4,000 people directly, and when you trickle it down, about 12,000 people indirectly. Now, what this does to them is that what brings people to them, now these are retail stores, these are offices, and what brings people to them is the beach.
As heavy earth-moving equipment dredges and levels the dunes, surveyors check sand levels, signaling the irreversible plan to transform this once vibrant beach to a highway.
We hope that the government will listen to us. What we're asking for is that we get time to move the things that needs to be taken out of the right-of-way. But this is not even in the right-of-way, and here we are grappling with having to quickly run to see as much as we can salvage.
Helpless workers, including foreign and local investors alike, are left in limbo.
It's heartbreaking, to see all what you worked for over the last couple of years, being pulled down by bulldozers without any form of, remorse or anything. It's crazy. We're losing business, people are losing jobs. The long-term effect, we know it's going to be quite damaging, and we really hope something can still be done to rectify this.
While the completion of the coastal highway promises improved infrastructure, its 8-year timeline offers little consolation to those whose lives have been upended by its construction. It simply offers an exchange, that is, losing several businesses that feed thousands of households and the attended tourism it offers for a highway from Lagos to Calabar. In Lagos from News Central, Lekan Onabanjo.
As part of efforts towards enhancing administration of justice in Nigeria's northeast, Borno State government, in collaboration with the Center for Social Legal Studies, organized a capacity-building course on the administration of criminal justice law. The course aims to unite all stakeholders involved in the justice system, fostering collaboration and coordination in the once insurgency-ravaged state. Our correspondent Umaru Kirawa tells us more.
A state recovering from the ashes of conflict in Nigeria's northeast, Borno is building on the peace as normalcy gradually returns. In recognition of the importance of a well-functioning justice system that instills public confidence and upholds the rule of law, the state government brought together stakeholders to equip them with the necessary knowledge and skills to effectively apply the provisions of the criminal justice law of Borno State.
There's nothing better than capacity building in the judicial system. The sine qua non, we shall motivate them. I'm aware of some of the lapses that we have. Equipment and all that is needed in order to drive the process of speedy dispensation of justice has to be done.
The capacity building course will cover a wide range of topics, including criminal law principles, investigation techniques, case management, fair trial rights, and the use of technology in evidence collection and presentation.
Some of these are ways ahead of the provisions in the Federal Administration of Criminal Justice Act.
I definitely have the conviction that at the end of our tenure in office, Nigerians will start reaping the benefits of the renewed hope agenda of this government. Let us be guided by the principle of integrity, professionalism, and respect for the rights of all individuals.
The administration of criminal justice law seeks to unite all stakeholders of criminal justice administration, lawyers and non-lawyers alike.
We are going to work with the Borno State as well as those committee members that the Ministry of Justice have put together.
By uniting all stakeholders, the state aims to create a harmonized justice system that benefits its citizens.
Our client will be happy because there will be no time wasting in the administration of criminal justice law as far as this law is concerned.
It's still new to us, so when this workshop is conducted, we will have the major takeaway in the workshop because the application of the law is going to be very, very easy.
It's a major shift from the traditional CPC that law officers and other lawyers are used to.
We have been rated #1 continuously, but that doesn't mean we will stop. That is why we are still even adopting new laws to make it even faster.
Some personalities were awarded as criminal justice champion for their efforts in improving Nigeria's justice system. In Maiduguri for News Central, Umori Kirawa.
In the meantime, the Kano State High Court has reserved May the 16th for ruling on the motion on whether the state government should serve notice of criminal charges on the immediate past governor of Kano State, Abdullahi Ganduje, and 7 other respondents. The charges are bordering on allegations of bribery, diversion, and misappropriation of public funds, including the purported acceptance of about $413,000 and 1.38 billion naira in bribes. At a resumed hearing, the counsel to the 6th respondent, Lamash Properties Limited, prayed the court to mandate the state government to serve the notice of criminal charges on the respondents instead of through substituted means. After listening to their argument, the trial judge Justice Usman Naaba fixed May the 16th for ruling. Anti-corruption organizations have berated the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission for flouting the Child's Rights Act by revealing details and identities of minors whose parents are being investigated over alleged corruption. With specific reference to the case of the immediate past governor of Kogi State, Yaya Bello, those children's names and other details were reportedly made public by the EFCC. The anti-graft CSOs expressed shock, arguing the commission had recklessly exposed the affected children to all manners of dangers. Addressing the press conference in Lagos on Monday, the anti-corruption organizations condemned the EFCC for not considering the safety and protection of the minors as required by both international and national laws, stressing that when minors are exposed to public unfair ridicule in the name of investigating their parents, no matter the allegations, such minors are automatically subjected to excruciating trauma that they do not deserve.
Collateral victims of the alleged indiscretions of their parents, even when proven. You get that? Yes. Children cannot be made collateral victims of the alleged indiscretions of their parents, even if proven guilty. Law is about justice. Justice is about humanity. Humanity is about our common good as a people. When minors are exposed to public and peer ridicule in the name of investigating their parents, no matter the allegations, such minors are automatically subjected to excruciating trauma that they don't deserve. I know enough of child psychology to understand that in their vulnerable state, they may suffer irreversible trauma when subjected to undeserved pressures that destroy their self-esteem. Going public with the details involving minors is a direct violation of Section 35 of the Child Rights Act that prohibits all forms of harmful publication about a child, because it's their future that you are damaging by so doing.
Organized labor unions in Nigeria have accused government of paying lip service to addressing current hardship affecting them. Some of the unions spoke to newsmen in Abuja during a press conference ahead of 2024 Workers' Day celebration coming up on May the 1st. Our correspondent, Marvelous Obomano, tells us more.
International Workers' Day is a day set aside to celebrate the resilience of workers and their contribution to nation building. To some Nigerians, the 2024 Workers' Day celebration with the theme, People First, seems like opening up a wound that is still fresh.
We are celebrating the May amid economic crisis in the country.
What is the workplace without people? Who keeps the wheels of production going? And who are the contributors to our national development?
The theme also highlights the importance of putting the interests of workers at the core of government's policies and actions. But many say this seems like a pipe dream as public officers continue to amass wealth to the detriment of Nigerian workers.
We will not have a former governor concerning about using $800,000 US just to pay advance of his child's school fees. We will not have another paying contractors over 10 billion for a fictitious airport project. We will not have people buying luxurious cars worth over 160 million each while the citizens suffer.
Today, we have experienced policy mishaps and of course policy somersaults where the people are put in the bottom line. A case in point is the increase in the electricity tariff without following the due process and in line with the Act, where stakeholders will have been involved in critical decisions that affect the life.
Organized labor unions in Nigeria say workers have not received the best from the current government, thus their continuous fallout with the current administration over the continuous lip service to the plight of Nigerian workers.
Today, we reflect on the journey of the labor movement in Nigeria. We cannot ignore the challenges that confront us, from unfair labor practices to inadequate wages, from unsafe working conditions to the erosion of workers' rights. Our right is far from over.
It is believed that this year's Workers' Day, which comes up on May the 1st, will provide an opportunity for government and labor to have a rethink on issues affecting workers' performance with a view to improving their productivity. In Abuja for News Central, Marvelous Obomman.
In the meantime, Governor of Edo State, Godwin Obaseki, has approved a new minimum wage of 70,000 naira for civil servants in the state. The governor revealed this while commissioning the new Labour House in Edo State on Monday. According to him, the new wage comes into effect on May 1st, 2024. This is as the Nigeria Labour Congress battles the federal government over increasing the minimum wage to match increasing national inflation and skyrocketing food inflation. The inflation rate for March 2024 hit 33.2% from 31.70% in February, according to the National Bureau of Statistics. Food inflation also rose to 31.7% in March from 30% in February. To security matters. The Nigeria Police Force says it has arrested several suspects in Edo State alleged to be complicit in armed robbery, kidnapping, courtesan, amongst others. The Edo State Commissioner of Police, while parading the suspects in Benin City, the state capital, says several items were recovered from the suspects, including firearms, live cartridges, amongst others. Some of the suspects, however, denied their complicity in the crimes they were accused of.
On the issue of criminals, I can assure you with the cooperation of the judiciary, we are going to keep this one and their likes who are ready to foment troubles. They will be off the streets.
I was fixing my light at my house. I just saw vigilante just came, say I should come. I came outside and they say I should sit on the ground. I sit now, they say I should follow them. They took some of my guys. They say I should follow them to the station. They carry us go station. As we reach station, now I take no say the key person for Aochi.
It was when I went to the police station to make a complaint, later alleging me that Lawan is an Eyema, me I'm an Ayema. So I know I know what's going on.
Initially, I didn't know that it was that kind of message you were sending me that I should go and check a vehicle. I thought that maybe you wanted to send me another message. Maybe you could, because sometimes you can send me, go and help me to get food or any other thing. But I didn't know that it was a vehicle which was abandoned in a murder case.
The United States has pledged continued support to Nigeria in its fight against terrorism and other security threats. This assurance came during the sixth session of the Nigeria-U.S. Binational Commission held in Abuja on Monday. The U.S. Deputy Secretary of State, Kurt Campbell, delivered the message through Assistant Secretary of African Affairs, Molly Fee. Fee emphasized the importance of security cooperation between the two nations. She said the U.S. is committed to helping Nigeria build a stronger, more professional, accountable security force. She underlined the importance of respecting human rights and fundamental freedom, including those of religious minorities. Meanwhile, Nigeria's foreign ministry appealed to the U.S. to increase efforts to repatriate stolen funds allegedly transferred by Nigerian officials. The ministry's permanent secretary, Adamu Lamwa, called the current level of U.S. assistance insufficient compared to the amounts of money Nigeria has lost through illicit financial transfers. Coming up, transitional PM assures General Debbie a place if elected as president. We have details after the break. Stay with us. Thank you for staying with us. Counting is underway after the Togolese voted calmly to elect deputies and regional councillors. The ballots came after lawmakers this month approved the constitutional reform creating a new prime minister-style post. Opponents believe it's tailored for President Faure Gnassingbe to avoid presidential term limits and stay in office. The ruling Union for Republic Party was widely expected to win a majority of 113 seats being contested in the National Assembly. The party currently dominates parliament, having almost 65% of the seats. According to the National Independent Electoral Commission, the final results from the polls will be released within a week. Kenya's President William Ruto has called for a special cabinet meeting to discuss the ongoing flooding crisis of the country. The government spokesperson, Isaac Mwaro, said about 169 people have been killed so far in floods that have devastated parts of Kenya in the last month. The number includes 45 people who died early on Monday morning after villages were swept away. However, the Kenya Red Cross put the death toll at 50. President Ruto defended his government's flood response following criticism from county governments that it was slow. Ruto said the cabinet meeting on Tuesday will discuss additional measures on flood mitigation. Chad's transitional prime minister, Success Masra, has assured that if he's elected president, he will keep a place alongside the president of military junta, General Mahamat Idris Debny Itno. Both presidential candidates are confident of victory in the first round on May 6th. General Mahamat Idris Debny Itno seized the presidency in the 2020 war coup after the death of his father, Idris Deby Itno, who had ruled the Sahel country with an iron fist for more than 3 decades. He had promised to hand over power to civilian governments within 18 months and told the African Union he would not stand for election as president. But in March, he announced his candidacy for the presidency, and the same month, authorities banned 10 opposite candidates from running.
Le président de la transition, toute son équipe, tous les autres auront leur place à mes côtés en tant que chef d'État. Un Tchad dans lequel civils et militaires travailleront ensemble, chrétiens et musulmans travailleront ensemble, hommes et femmes, jeunes et vieux. Un Tchad réconcilié, un Tchad intergénérationnel, tourné vers l'avenir, capable de travailler avec les partenaires du Tchad à l'international, mais aussi capable d'avoir des résultats pour son peuple. Voyez-vous, c'est tout ça. Je bâtirai un pays avec les Tchadiens et les Tchadiennes réconciliés, penser les plaies, avoir une commission de type vérité, justice, réconciliation, réparation. Pas seulement sur cette période, avec ces zones de turbulence, la période de transition, j'entends, mais sur toute la période depuis les indépendances jusqu'à aujourd'hui. Nous avons des plaies. Je suis rentré dans le cockpit de la transition comme copilote pour m'assurer qu'on n'atterrisse pas à l'aéroport de la dynastie, mais à l'aéroport de la démocratie. L'aéroport de la démocratie, c'est le peuple qui choisit. Et Vox Populi, Vox Dei. Je suis candidat et vous avez vu que je mène une campagne qui se veut victorieuse parce que j'ai eu une réponse.
2 former members of parliament in the Kingdom of Eswatini are expected to appear in court on Tuesday. In 2021, the duo Umdudi Mabuza and Mathadeni Dube were arrested during the demonstration calling for democratic reform, a protest that sparked violence in the country, leaving many people dead. The Southern African country has been ruled by King Mswati, the third since 1986. In Eswatini, political parties, they are banned from participating in elections, which has sparked protests over the years from angry citizens. Amnesty International and European Union have been calling for the release of this duo. And to unpack this, I'm joined live by Swalimo spokesperson, Tantaza Selolo. Good morning, glad to have you join me.
How are you? How are you? There, my sister.
Yes, you are the court where 2 former members of parliament will be appearing in court today. What more can you tell us about what's happening right there?
Yes, the MPs have arrived and the court is in session already. We are expecting that maybe they will be sentenced either today or tomorrow if the things are not exhausted today. But the court has been going on for maybe since 2021 when they were arrested for these trumped up charges wherein they were calling for democratic reforms in the country while they were still MPs. Then the king ordered that they be arrested. And since then, they've been denied bail and denied their freedom. They've been in prison up to this date. And there is no felony that they committed. Their only issue was to stand up in parliament and mention that the people of Swaziland are seeking freedom and democracy.
How about the government? And that's King Mswati. Has he said anything on the arrest of these 2? And also, are there any signs of change or reforms by the government or listening to its citizens?
The government has been adamant that in Eswatini there is democracy. There is this kind of democracy they call monarchical democracy, wherein they say the king is ruling with parliament. But what we all know is that parliament is very oppressed in Eswatini. Parliament has no power, has no clear function. The king does as he pleases. We have always mentioned that the king is an absolute monarch, even though the system denies that. And he is a supreme authority because all what he says or does comes into force. Parliament has no power. The cabinet follows what the king wants to be done, and everything that is happening is according to what the royalty needs. State resources are being abused by royalty, and everything happens as per the dictates of the king.
Thank you so much for your time on the news. Thantazi Silolo, Swalimo spokesperson. And for business stories, let's connect with the business desk.
Recent dividend announcements by major Nigerian banks have highlighted the complex interplay between shareholder returns and Central Bank of Nigeria's recapitalization requirements. Despite the CBN's push for a hefty capital raise, banks are not shying away from returning capital to their shareholders. The data have been tracked and shows that 6 major banks, which have recently published their 2023 audited accounts, are set to pay out a combined 379 billion naira in dividends in the coming months. This compares to 289.1 billion naira declared as final dividends a year earlier. And in Southern Africa, President Cyril Ramaphosa's spokesperson stated that South Africa regards BHP Group's proposed bid for Anglo-American as a routine market activity and is closely monitoring the unfolding process. BHP is reportedly contemplating an improved offer after its initial $39 billion proposal was turned down by Anglo. While acknowledging the early stages of BHP's bid, spokesperson Vincent Magwenya affirmed that South Africa will track developments like any other stakeholder, emphasizing the nation's commitment to not impede market activities. Any exit by Anglo, founded in South Africa in 1917, would be an economic blow to the country, whose miners have been cutting jobs and investment in response to weakening metals prices and a slew of local challenges exacerbated by the State Port and Freight Rail Company. And finally, on Monday, African leaders issued a fervent appeal to wealthy nations, urging them to commit substantial contributions to a low-interest World Bank facility crucial for funding development projects and combating climate change in developing nations. Kenyan President William Ruto emphasized the significance of this moment, urging partners to demonstrate solidarity by significantly increasing their contributions to at least $120 billion. He underscored the pressing challenges facing African economies, including a deepening development crisis and escalating debt burdens, alongside the urgent need to address climate emergencies for the planet's survival. The call from African leaders reflects the critical importance of international support in tackling the multifaceted challenges confronting developing nations, highlighting the need for concerted global action to address pressing developmental and environmental issues.
And now to sports stories. Former internationals Daniel Amokachi, Emmanuel Amonike, and Michael Nsien are under consideration for the post of the Super Eagles assistant coach. The trio initially applied for the Super Eagles head coach position. The Nigeria Football Federation confirmed the appointment of Finidi George as the head coach on Monday. The NFF are now working on putting together a formidable backroom staff for Finidi. Amokachi and Amonike once worked as assistant coaches in the Super Eagles. Former Everton striker Amokachi was assistant to late coaches Shuaibu Amodu and Stephen Keshi, while Amonike had a stint as an assistant coach to Samson Siasa and Augustin Eguavon. Nsien, a former Super Eagles defender, is currently the coach of United States of America under-19 team. The organizer of the French Women's League on Monday announced the theme of the season as the season reached a crescendo. Due to her performance this season, Nigeria Super Falcons and Paris FC feminine goalkeeper Chiamaka Nnadozie prominently featured on the list. Nnadozie was outstanding for the Super Falcons at the FIFA World Cup in 2023 and played an active role in the team reaching the knockout round. She featured on the team of the season alongside players from PSG and Lyon. Chiamaka was also voted as the best goalkeeper in the French Division 1 Feminine. Rafael Nadal is into the last 16 of the Madrid Open after a hard-fought victory over Argentina's Pedro Cachin. The 37-year-old Spaniard came through after 3 hours and 6 minutes on court. Five-time champion Nadal is playing on Madrid Day for the final time in what he expects to be the last season of his career. Nadal will play 30th seed Jiril Lehecka of Czech Republic on Tuesday for a place in the quarterfinals. And that's all on the news. But before we go, let's take a look again at some of the major stories. Ipman blames outdated and abandoned pipelines for shortage of petrol across the country. Counting on the way after polls close in Togo's parliamentary elections. We also told you that Kenyan cabinet meets as death toll from flood nears 170. Send your eyewitness report to the WhatsApp number on the screen and follow us on social media. We are at News Central TV. You can watch us live on DSTV, channel 422, Star Times, channel 274, Avo TV, and YouTube. Many thanks for watching. I am Adebola Adeduga.